We have a vision to build a global ecosystem of villages for change makers, impact entrepreneurs and pioneers. Creative sanctuaries, leadership hubs, gathering spaces for the next generation of Leonardos who are preparing themselves to lead the Renaissance, the big transformation humanity is going through right now. And the first location of Custodia here in Bali is now ready to open. In the upcoming minutes, we will explore how we can become the leaders of this emerging new world, what the most potent paradigm shift is that I've come across over my past 12 years of being an entrepreneur, and how Custodia is becoming one of the first organizations globally that is set up completely differently, and as a result, it can become so much more resilient, powerful, and full of integrity compared to all the other impact-driven endeavors out there. To start this journey, we need to learn from history, because this is not the first time the world order is fundamentally changing. Just 10 lifetimes ago, around the year 1300, we found ourselves immersed in the Middle Ages. A time marked by pervasive turmoil and hardship, as societies grappled with constant conflict and political fragmentation. Wars were as much a part of everyday life as plagues and famines were, repeatedly decimating populations, undermining social structures, and fueling widespread despair. The rigid feudal system further entrenched inequality and created harsh living conditions where survival was the primary objective. But from this cauldron of hardship, seeds of transformation began to take root. By the late 14th century, a fresh wave of intellectual and artistic energy emerged, ushering in a period of breathtaking beauty and creative rebirth. Scholars, artists, and innovators sparked a shift toward humanism, a belief in the power of human ingenuity and expression. This rising spirit laid the foundations of the Renaissance, a time where art, science, and philosophy intermingled to create a cultural landscape that was as beautiful as it was revolutionary, illuminating the path to modernity with grace and splendor. The key figure of the transformative period of the Renaissance was undoubtedly Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo was a painter, a scientist, an astronomer, a sculptor, an architect, a musician, and probably many more things that he just did for himself without telling anybody. His wide-ranging education allowed him to connect disparate fields and develop a holistic understanding of the world. As a true polymath, a universal genius, Leonardo's ability to connect so many different fields enabled him to envision innovations that were so far ahead of his time. His paintings, the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, they were not only a testament of his artistic skill, but also showed how his deep understanding of anatomy and emotion enabled him to craft a painting that was a lot more than a painting. Da Vinci's legacy endures as a testament to the power of interdisciplinary education. His relentless pursuit of knowledge from various fields enabled him to transcend the boundaries of his time and leaving an indelible mark on art, on science, on innovation. He literally was the original Renaissance man, the most prominent figure of an epoch that produced an insane amount of innovations. Exactly this spirit of immersing ourselves in so many different fields in order to transcend all that knowledge into true wisdom, this is what I believe is necessary in the complex and ever-changing times that we're living in today. But Leonardo very likely wouldn't have become the Leonardo who changed the course of history if he hadn't been born in 1452 in Vinci, a small village near Florence, the perfect stage for him. Florence was the hub of the Renaissance. A third of its population was literate, the highest rate in all of Europe. Its currency, the florin, prized for its gold purity, was the dominant standard currency on the continent. Consequently, Florence thrived financially, attracting numerous bankers and merchants. This wealth in turn drew many artists. There were more wood carvers than butchers. Innovative ideas emerged naturally because the culture rewarded those who immersed themselves in a wide range of disciplines. Florence's highest values during the Renaissance were beauty, humanity, and learning. And as a result of that, a thriving ecosystem emerged that brought together intellectual prowess, artistic genius, and financial savviness. And the three of them created a cascade of positive change that rippled far beyond its borders into the upcoming centuries. The innovative spirit of the Renaissance spurred scientific inquiry and exploration. In the wake of Leonardo's and his contemporaries' breakthroughs, massive advancements in astronomy, in medicine, and engineering were made, elevating our understanding of the world, how the world works. But through this incredible intellectual explosion, not only technological progress was made, but also societal values were elevated. A shift towards humanism and curiosity and beauty as a guiding principle were sparked. As these advancements of the Renaissance evolved, they also set the stage for unforeseen consequences. The very progress that brought about a flourishing of art, science, and commerce led to rapid industrialization and the expansion of global systems. This accelerated pace of development, while driving unprecedented wealth and innovation, also deepened inequalities and strained the natural world. The intricate interwoven networks of modern society, built on centuries of accumulated extraction, have now resulted in the meta crisis, a complex convergence of environmental, economic, and social problems. The seeds of the meta crisis were sown by Leonardo and his contemporaries. The liberation of the creative spirit led to the exploitation of natural ecosystems. Valuing humanism resulted in the devaluing of other species. And the financial innovations of the Renaissance gave rise to the corrupt late-stage capitalist behemoth we have today. And sorry for saying that, Leonardo, but the Mona Lisa led to NFTs of weird apes. But all of that, of course, is not Leonardo's fault. It's the generations upon generations of uninspired copycats that came after him, squeezing the orange of his creativity until nothing original was left. To clean up that mess, we need the holistic, interdisciplinary spirit of the Renaissance. We need a rekindling of our creative capacity. It's time for our next rebirth. So, who will lead this new Renaissance? No, it's not the leaders of today's world. Every major quantum leap has always come from outside the current establishment. Airbnb wasn't invented by the hotel industry. Uber wasn't invented by the taxi companies. Netflix wasn't invented by Hollywood. And the feudal lords certainly didn't bring about the Renaissance. Leonardo did. The big corporations of today are too deeply rooted in their old ways of doing things, in their old practices, in their old values, in their old behavior. And no, it's not the system dropouts either. The hippies can't do anything about the meta crisis. They lack the vigor and savvy to really bring their beautiful values into the world. So with all the obvious candidates not being an option, who will lead this next Renaissance? We need Leonardos, polymaths, modern-day Renaissance women and men who have the capability to steer humanity through our current rebirth. Spiral Dynamics, a model of psychological and cultural evolution, describes the spirit that's needed with the color yellow. This is the moment something truly new is created. A second-tier consciousness focused on being of service instead of merely fulfilling one's own ego desires. Yellow thinkers exhibit unbridled fearlessness in problem solving, synthesizing a visionary approach with pragmatic considerations. They can simultaneously focus on the bigger picture and the here and now. A focused drive that transcends exploitative practices in favor of a broader, globally oriented perspective that prioritizes the collective good. Yellow optimizes for truth rather than personal motives like money, fame, and recognition. In essence, yellow epitomizes an extraordinary cognitive metamorphosis, where individuals demonstrate an advanced understanding of complex systems and contribute meaningfully to the well-being of the entire planet through their visionary, reflective, and globally oriented thinking. Only from this point onwards can we be truly effective agents of change, when we can focus all our resources on the task at hand without being distracted by selfish motives. Modern-day Leonardos come from a place of custodianship, of being in service to the thriving of all life, not because they have to, but because they are deeply in love with life itself. They are touched by the beauty of the natural world and cannot help but care for it. The big picture perspective that yellow is capable of is the prerequisite for navigating the complexities of modern life. The meta crisis is a product of ignoring the interconnectedness of everything. Our fragmented thinking focuses on one part while overlooking the whole. We pursue a single goal and inadvertently cause harm elsewhere. Like, our minds are divided into so many different fragments, between the personal and the collective, between the material and the spiritual, between the rational and the intuitive. We perceive life in isolated fragments and as a result lose sight of the beauty of the whole. The immensely beautiful conversations between Krishnamurti and David Bohm taught me that true understanding is only possible if we let go of these artificial boundaries. They both urge us to see life as one continuous, interconnected field, much like a river where every drop is part of the whole current. Just as we cannot separate the individual tree from the forest, we cannot separate the individual human being from the entirety of life on Earth. If we try to benefit ourselves while causing harm somewhere else, in the end we cause harm to ourselves, because we are one. It's an illusion to maximize our own well-being at the expense of any other entity. So I believe it's about trying to raise our individual well-being and that of our loved ones, while at the same time contributing to the well-being of all life on Earth. This leads us to the core task of any modern-day Leonardo: letting go of the divisive impulses of the past and integrating all facets of oneself, deepening the embodiment of seemingly opposite traits all at once. I developed a framework that helps me to see where I have homework to do. The 4 archetypes of custodianship offer a glimpse into what it means to be a modern-day Leonardo. Just as Da Vinci immersed himself in fields that were vastly different, we are invited to do the same. Firstly, there's the romantic. The romantic is our connection with the emotional realm. It's a deeply feminine archetype that brings us into contact with the beauty and the sacredness of life. The romantic is about feeling everything, about tasting everything, about experiencing everything. It's our connection with a deeply fulfilling life. Because if life isn't inherently sacred, inherently special, inherently meaningful, like, why even bother? Being a modern-day Leonardo begins exactly here. Next, the second archetype enters the scene, the guardian. The guardian is a masculine archetype. It's our connection with the physical realm. The guardian is about standing up for what we believe in, protecting what is sacred, setting boundaries, saying no, fighting if necessary. The guardian is essential to protect the beauty and the love that the romantic feels. And it's about cultivating our full physical capabilities in order to develop the vigor and the strength to create this new world. While the romantic and the guardian are a powerful team on their own, the third archetype, the genius, is absolutely essential for any modern-day Leonardo. It's our connection with the mental realm and another masculine archetype. The genius knows how to navigate the complex terrain of technology, money, innovation, and systems in order to achieve our goals. This intelligence lifts the passion of the romantic and the fortitude of the guardian to our global playing fields. But only the fourth archetype, the mystic, completes the picture. It's our connection with the spiritual realm and another deeply feminine archetype. The mystic invites us to surrender, to let go, to trust, to know that everything is perfect as it is, and at the same time, everything can change. The mystic gives us the ease and the effortlessness needed to operate at our highest levels, even when faced with enormous challenges. And of course, these four archetypes are not the full picture, are not everything a modern-day Leonardo is invited to cultivate. It's still only a model, not full reality. And at the same time, it can nudge us in the direction of our individual developmental homeworks. Just as Leonardo needed Florence to become the Leonardo he could be, we too need one. A fertile ground where all the necessary components are present to unleash our full emotional, physical, mental and spiritual capabilities. An ecosystem of highly creative people immersed in various domains. A place that radiates innovation and fully embodies our values. One that inspires us and calls forth the very best from within, where ideas and resources move freely, from where they are to where they are needed, and where effective responses to the meta-crisis are co-created. We need a Florence of the 21st century, and Custodia aims to become one. So, over the past 9 months, we explored how a place for modern-day Leonardos could look like. And in the first episode of our documentation series, we shared how all of this came into existence. 9 months ago, I posted this on my YouTube channel. Friends, we're gonna build a living space for the next generation of leaders, stewards, and pioneers to thrive in order to I dreamed about a place that actually embodies the change that this fragmented world that we're living in right now needs so desperately. But at this time, it was just an idea in my head. Today, 9 months later, we are just before the opening of Custodia, our living experiment for an aligned humanity. In the first episode of our documentation series, we shared how we found the perfect piece of land here in the mountains of central Bali, leased this land from Paketut, the current owner, for the next 80 years, and created the first set of infrastructure so that we can gather here and work on our embodiment as the Leonardos, the custodians, the future leaders that we can be. And of course, this place needed to be built using regenerative, locally sourced material like bamboo and wood, so that we can live on an ecological footprint of just 1.0, a lifestyle that technically would work for all 8 billion inhabitants of this earth, because I believe as custodians we need to be role models on how to live in alignment with the whole ecosystem. And this realization informed every big and small decision we made when creating the first set of infrastructure here. We erected 7 beautiful bamboo platforms, put small cotton tents on them by Danish sustainability leaders Nordisk, equipped them with furniture, wooden furniture by local Balinese artisans, and organic floor mattresses and bedding products from Hevea. We've built a beautiful open kitchen and community area to connect and to co-create, and right now we are in the process of finishing our outdoor bathrooms, 2 of them. There was a lot of groundwork to lay the infrastructure, the foundation, to collect the rainwater, recycle the rainwater for electricity. We set up our 9-meter Starlink pole to ensure the fastest internet connection on the mountain. We accessed our pristine river down there, where I absolutely love to take a plunge each and every morning. And we did a lot of permaculture work to enhance the already tremendous biodiversity here on site. So we laid the foundation, we did the first steps to create a place that actually embodies custodianship, to create a place that someday down the road may grow into a Florence of the 21st century. But although the first residents have already moved in, and in a couple of days Custodia will open to the public, this journey is just getting started. By now we probably have realized just 1% of the incredible potential this place has. Over the past 9 months we focused on building a really solid foundation on which the remaining 99% can be realized. In our vision we see a full village of 100 to 150 people, the perfect size for an intimate yet diverse settlement, according to British anthropologist Robin Dunbar. There we see all generations living and thriving together, from the littlest Leonardos to the wisest elders, all united by their shared commitment to custodianship, their shared commitment to serve life itself, to serve Mother Gaia. And this vision is physically manifested by a whole array of organizations, companies, initiatives, products. A Silicon Valley for impact entrepreneurship. Of course, this village will be open to the world, welcoming guests in a variety of retreats, think tanks and emergence, spaces where people can deepen their embodiment of what they wish to see in the world and contribute to its creation. This aims to be a place that serves as the eye of the tornado, the epicenter of an ecosystem that reinvents business, healthcare, education, like all technology, all areas of life that are currently not in service to the whole biosphere. Ultimately, it's a vision about humanity living in alignment with the planet and contributing to finding viable responses to the meta crisis we're witnessing right now. But a Florence of the 21st century can't just be one single place. Our globalized world calls for a network of spaces, of interconnected spaces all around the world, on every continent and every culture, that all act together as one big organism, where people, ideas and resources can flow freely from where they are to where they are needed. Much like in a forest, where all the components seamlessly fit together and create something that is so much more than just the sum of its parts. It's time to leave our old fragmented ways of working together behind and explore new, more productive and more collaborative forms of organization. Custodia is currently incorporating as a FairShares Commons, a powerful response to the changing times we're living in right now. The FairShares Commons is the brainchild of the ingenious Graham Boyd. It's a company that is liberated from being the property of someone and is fully free to unfold its own evolutionary purpose while being nourished by each and everyone who interacts with it. A FairShares Commons is an entity that is brought to life by a diverse array of stakeholders. Founders, employees, clients, partners, suppliers, investors, they all together steward this organization. They all together make decisions, participate in governance, and at the same time benefit from the wealth that gets created. For me, in my past 12 years of being an entrepreneur, I've not come across a more potent response to the meta crisis on an entrepreneurial level than this FairShares Commons framework. An FSC basically is designed to regenerate not just financial capital, as it is the case for all companies out there. They try to make more out of less, but regenerate all forms of capital: human capital, natural capital, social capital, intellectual capital, for not just the person who owns the company, but for everyone and everything it touches. An FSC is basically how nature would design a company: collaborative, fair, and tremendously vibrant. But the full magic unfolds when multiple FairShares Commons companies merge into one cohesive organism. Something that doesn't exist yet, but that we are determined to bring into reality. Because at the level of the individual company, we cannot achieve true anti-fragility. Anti-fragility meaning the organization getting stronger when it is challenged. In order to achieve that, in order to achieve the most resilient, robust organization that is possible, that can last for decades and maybe even centuries, we need to build an ecosystem of interconnected organizations spanning diverse industries, but that are all connected by their shared commitment to custodianship. So the ultimate big picture vision for the Custodia ecosystem is not just to build a network of interconnected villages like the one that we're building currently here in Bali and in many other places, from New Zealand to Nicaragua, from South Africa to Sweden, but to form a conglomerate of organizations spanning diverse industries, all dedicated to custodianship. They are ranging from education to food to healthcare to construction and clothing and many other industries that all rethink how technology is used in service to the biosphere and not as a means for extraction and exploitation. And it's a gargantuan process that fills me up with so much joy to be on, and I'm looking forward to share more about our incorporation process as a FairShares Commons, where we are currently guided by its originator Graham Boyd in a future documentation episode. But the big picture is definitely clear: to form an interconnected organism consisting of many different organizations that together share resources, innovations, people, like ideas can move freely, and we basically take inspiration from how a forest works, where all the parts together form something that is a lot more than just the sum of the individual components. All of this is informed by the realization that the unsustainable practices of humanity as we know it today is not an indicator of our inherent badness, but just a phase in our collective coming of age. And that today we are witnessing the most fundamental phase shift our species went through in our history. A phase shift that is characterized by the emergence of a completely transformed kind of human being. In order to explore that, I'd love to read the end of my book, Gaia's Custodians, to you. If this phase shift is something your mind has a hard time imagining, let's look to the animal kingdom. where those kinds of metamorphoses are not uncommon. In the quiet solitude of the shell, the chicken embryo undergoes a transformation unbeknownst to its confined world. It consumes the finite resources that sustain its embryonic existence, oblivious to the unsustainable nature of its behavior. The egg white, once a source of nourishment, becomes a vessel for metabolic pollution as the chicken devours its surroundings in the pursuit of growth. Much like the caterpillar, confined within its chrysalis, developmental phases unfold in a paradoxical dance of unsustainability. The creature within struggles against the limitations of its environment, consuming all that it can reach. The fragility of this cocooned existence mirrors our own journey as humans through developmental phases we may not fully understand. Are we too in the midst of a profound metamorphosis? As the little chicken devours the last traces of its egg white, a surge of strength emerges, signaling the impending breakthrough. Only through consuming everything around it does it become strong enough to break free and depart into a completely new kind of existence. Likewise, could our unsustainable practices be the prelude to a transformative phase shift in human behavior? The caterpillar yields to the emergence of the butterfly, embracing an entirely new way of being. In the quiet cocoon of our existence, may we reflect on the unsustainable nature of our current trajectory and ponder the possibility of a profound shift, a metamorphosis that transcends the constraints of our current understanding. Like the chicken breaking free from its shell, could humanity be on the brink of soaring into a realm of harmony, sustainability, and a renewed connection with Gaia, our loving Mother Earth? Let's find out. Just days before the opening of this very special place, where I and a bunch of very talented people put all their love, creativity, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears too. If you feel a resonance and want to get involved, the best place to start is the website on custodia.earth, or you can follow along the journey on Instagram, YouTube, or Spotify. There are multiple ways to become a part of Custodia, either as a second home for Bali-based Leonardos, or in the form of retreats, gatherings, immersions, if you're currently located in another place in the world. And soon, when we are starting the second phase of construction, as a full-time resident or as an investor too. This concludes our shared exploration today. I thank you for your time. My heart is beating. I'm looking forward to this very special journey, and looking forward to talk to you in our next documentation episode. See you then. Sending love from Bali.